Yes, hello. Net neutrality update for you. I'm totally kidding. Although since we last spoke, the FCC did successfully use the Congressional Review Act to vote to overturn the FCC's ruling, which now goes to the House, and you really should be calling your representatives and making this an election year issue. Segue though, you may have noticed that I dropped off the map for a little bit there. I'm really glad I did. As one of my college professors put it when I overslept and missed their class, if you slept that late, you must have needed it. You get what I mean? But a lot of things have happened in my life recently, and I think I owe you an update. Well, I owe some of you a little more than that. But first, where did I leave off? Ah, yes. To here. To here. That's here. Summer 2017, my sister and I packed up about 3/4 of our lives and moved from the suburbs of Chicago, my heart, my home, Chicago, jewel by the lake, Chicago, my wife, my life, Chicago, and settled ourselves in beautiful Brooklyn, New York, an actual dream. Then our parents packed up the remaining fourth and drove all 4/4 out here in a big truck for us. God rest their souls. No, that's not right, because they're not dead, and they never will be, because they're your parents. We've lived here for about a year and change now, and I finally feel like this place, this apartment, is mine, in some of the same ways that I feel like our last place, like looking back nostalgically, was mine. And even the city itself, I feel so much more comfortable now, even as a person who always wanted to live here. Like, I get it now. I feel so much more comfortable getting around, knowing where I am. I feel like a New Yorker. But that's skipping ahead a year. A thing or two happened inside that stretch of time, I think. As you may or may not know, I spent the first 2.5 to 3 years out of college pretty unemployed and pretty depressed. And that includes, like, the first 6 months that we were here. That looks something like this. Not great. But then something happened. I think you can imagine what it might be. Actually, for those first 6 months, I was also applying to jobs. Then it happened. I got a job. And that was back in February, so I'm happy to say I've been gainfully employed for the past about 7 months. I came on as an assistant video editor in a contract freelance capacity. Shortly after that, I transitioned to video editor, and then shortly after that, I was made a full-time salaried employee, which is big and weird and new and good. Looking back, I of course had no idea what I was getting myself into, and no way I could have known that, and the answer turned out to be more than I thought, but that's a good thing. It turned out to be, like, exactly what I needed, and I'm much more happy and content having that stability and, like, having a place in the city to go and things to work on. So that's where I've been, and I haven't made anything in a really long time. Now, a fact about me, you may or may not know, is that I don't really like talking about myself so much. And I've also talked on here about how, like, the vlogging thing doesn't really interest me anymore, and that's still pretty true. So why the hell am I even making this video? Well, the reasons are twofold. One, as I mentioned before, I genuinely feel like I owe some folks an update. Maybe you're curious, maybe you've been giving me money on Patreon for months and you're wondering if you're throwing it into a black hole. And two, I haven't been able to devote a single goddamn brain cell to personal creativity since I got a job. And I wanted to make something simple that I could point at and say, there you go, idiot, you broke the seal, I've met your fake brain criteria, now go make cool stuff again. And also, I know I said 2 reasons, but I'm fickle. This thing always helped me, you know, talk through thoughts and brain stuff before, you know, putting it down on a page, talking it out to a camera, putting it out in the world. And I've had like a year of brain stuff to sift through. So hello, I miss you. Here's how it's gonna be. I'm not gonna try to adhere to any kind of upload schedule whatsoever. I'm in no place to promise anything like that. I got a big old job and a big old beautiful city to explore. However, I would like to A, make more stuff, check, and B, make more of what I make more accessible now that I have a good job what pays me nice. Namely, I've decided to make my newsletter available to everyone once more, for free, not just patrons. Also, I'm making a newsletter again, which you may have noticed if you're watching this very video from that very newsletter. info on how to subscribe to the newsletter in the notes below. I've also gone ahead and removed the higher tiers of support on my Patreon. The $10 and $25 tiers are gone. I do not need that. The reason I'm not shutting down my Patreon as a source of income altogether is because it's just a nice thing to have open, just in case. Just keep that door open. And also, it's still really cool to see that, like, material support of my art from folks. So, thank you. There's your update, everybody. I'm here. I'm good. I'm looking forward to making things again. If you're looking at an end screen right now, thank you so much for watching this video. There'll be some things, some links around for you to check out other things I've done. I'll catch you later, folks.